Hi guys, welcome to another Man Card Monday. Today we are going to work with a few stamp sets, but I really liked how this card turned out, and I hope you do too. Let's get to it. First, I will be listing all of the measurements on my blog post, so that will be linked in the information below this video. So go check it out. Here are the stamp sets that we are going to be using today. We are going to use Colorful Texture, that is part of the Story by Stacy line. We will be using the Sending Smiles Sentiments from the Flower Market Cricut Bundle. And we will be using the Into the Wild Scrapbooking stamp set and dies. However, we will not be using the dies today. All right, let's get started. We are going to be stamping on our linen cardstock. We are going to start with our Glacier ink and the long skinny stamp set from the Story by Stacy Colorful Texture stamp set. And we're going to stamp this right about halfway. Then we're going to go down about 1/2 inch down and about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch in. And we're going to stamp again. We are going to rotate our stamp and then stagger that just a little bit more. And then we are done with that stamp. We will come back to this color in a short bit. Next, we are going to use the large paint swatch, also in the Story by Stacy Colorful Texture. And we are going to use Heather ink. We're not using the whole thing. And before we do that, we want to mask our Glacier ink. It doesn't have to be perfect, just close. So we're just inking up the top a little bit. We will stamp off once, and then we will stamp this somewhat at an angle. And it's not going to be very dark. I might stamp that one again. Next, we are going to use our Pebble ink and the smallest tree in the Into the Wild Scrapbooking stamp set. Now, we are going to build these tall trees in the back. And they're going to look kind of funny at first, because they aren't actually connecting. All right, next, we will use our Mink ink. We will use our middle-sized tree. And we will stamp one here. We will build one here. Create one here and one more here. Next, we are going to use our charcoal ink. And we are going to use the largest tree. And we're going to stamp right in that hole. Stamp that one up just a little bit taller. And then we're going to use the middle tree in the charcoal ink right there. We are going to pull in our envelope. We are going to use our middle tree in the charcoal ink, and we are going to stamp that twice on the flap, and then we are going to stamp once in the bottom right corner of the front of the envelope. We are done with our envelope. Now we are going to use the Sending Many Wishes Your Way stamp, and we're going to stamp in the bottom right corner with our charcoal ink. Now we're done with our stamping. We are going to keep our charcoal ink open. And we are going to use our sponge, and we are going to edge our pieces. This is super fast and easy to do. And it just makes the cardstock pop. So on these ones, you only need to do 3 sides, 1 long and 2 short. And then on this piece, before we do that, we're going to do a little bit of eyeballing. And we're going to, excuse me, we're going to trim this down. And then we are going to ink the edges on this one as well. Okay, we are done with our ink and our sponge. We are not done with our ink. We need to do one more thing. I'm going to bring in my scratch paper. And then we have a piece of the white and gold ribbon. And we're going to bring in our glacier ink. And we are going to do direct pad to paper, only it's ribbon. And then we're going to let that dry. Now we're done with the ink. Let's assemble our card. Okay. So we need to attach our linen piece to our charcoal piece. And we do have the dark side of both pieces showing. We are using the dark side on all of the pieces today. And we are just going to center our linen piece on our charcoal piece. And then we are going to burnish it with our bone folder. And then we are going to take our piece that we cut at an angle, and we are going to do things a little bit backwards. Well, it might seem that way. It's not really. It's done this way for a reason. And that reason is because I only have 2 hands. So we are going to line up the left side with the edge of our charcoal. We're filling in that gap that we left. Okay. Burnish, always burnish. And we have a little bit of mink twine that I am going to just start in a knot. Just one little bit. And then we're going to take our ribbon and we are going to trim one end so that it is also at an angle. We're going to slip that underneath. Okay. So this is where we are so far. We'll fix the ribbon laying down here shortly. And then we are going to take our stapler, our mini stapler, and we are going to staple over the ribbon and the twine in a little X formation. Okay, we're done with our mini attacher. All right, so we are going to use some just regular Scotch tape, or you can use some washi, and we're just going to tape this onto the back. Now, to fix our little ribbon here, it's doing that because it was folded underneath a piece of paper. We're just going to take a micro glue dot and place it underneath our ribbon there. Problem solved. All right, now we are going to take our card base, fold it so the bump is in the middle, in the inside, I should say. And then we are going to attach our wood grain pieces to the left and right sides of this card. Again, always burnishing. I have my camera a little bit closer this time than I usually do, so I'm trying to retrain my brain as to where I need to be in screen. So hopefully this works out very well. All right, so my pieces I did cut just a smidge long so that I could make sure that they were long enough. So I'm just going to trim those off. And now we're going to center this piece right on the front. Super simple. And the burnishing will be a little bit more difficult because of that ribbon, but that's okay. Okay. Okay, and again, my pieces are just a smidge long. And again, I did that on purpose. I did not want any of the white of the card possibly showing. All right, so our card front is done. Now we could stop there, but we're not going to because we need to do something on the inside. So we are essentially going to repeat on the inside, but with slightly smaller pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to pay attention to which side of our cardstock has the ink on it. Because remember we did ink 3 of those edges. And we're just creating a line on either side. And again, like before, some of these might be a smidge long, and we can trim them with each step. So this one we're just going to try and match the other side. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want it kind of close. Burnishing each piece. We'll trim off any extras. So essentially, you only needed to do one long side on those pieces. That's okay. All right, and then we're going to do the same. Now I want to make sure before I go much further that I have the right sizes. Since I'm using smaller pieces of paper, I did not want the edges to be, the left and right edges to be too much different than the top and bottom edges. But even if that were the case, we could adjust that fairly simply by trimming off one edge or the other. All right, give that a burnish. Let's see how it fits in here. So see, our left and right edges are larger than our top and bottom edges. So I think I'm going to just trim that a little bit. I think we'll go ahead and do 5 inches. And that should be pretty perfect. That makes it fairly even all the way around. So that would be how you fix that little bit. Adding our glue. And it may not be perfect, and that's okay. It's handmade. There will be imperfections. And there we are. Our front and our inside, along with our envelope. I hope you like the cards we made today. Oh, wait, almost almost forgot. So we do need to finish tying our knot and trimming our twine down. And then I just grab these, trim them at the same length. There. Now we have finished. So hopefully you enjoyed this card. I hope you like that it is a great little card to give to a guy. You can actually send this to anybody, but of course us card makers tend to find guy cards a little bit harder. So that is why you have Man Card Monday. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like this great little card. I hope you create it for yourself, and I'd love to see it if you do. I would love to hear from you. So please leave me a comment below. Show me any cards you make with this. I would love to see them. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.